Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my pro game cast series. I am Sylphin. In today's video we are taking a look at another high ELO game done just a few days ago. 1888 ELO versus 1818 featuring Cameron, one of the highest ELO players. I always enjoy watching the very highly skilled do their craft and try to learn from it. So I know Monolith is just around the corner here, but there are of course some things that we can learn from the pros here on Legacy that we can as well take into Monolith. So ladies and gentlemen, here we are in game. On this blue team, we have PF Prime as Murdoch, Shadon as Decker, Nikki M as Grux, I Will Survive as Gadget, and B9STN as Severog. For the orange team, we have Cameron as Sparrow, Man in Hell as Rampage, Euro Anchor on Gideon, and It's P on Muriel, and Chuchurino on Grux. So it looks like it's going to be a very good game. The teams do have proper supports, nice proper tanks with interesting jungle combinations as well. Both having a Grux, and I'm interested to see if the Grux Rampage and Grux Severog, you're going to have some interesting kind of interplays between the tank damage and jungle role here. It's going to be really interesting to see. So here in this red lane we have Cameron as Sparrow with their Muriel that will soon come after the red buff here against a Murdoch and Decker here on the red lane. The Decker is being quite positioning very aggressively. She knows that without that Muriel she may be able to do something, but she has to be careful here. Getting picked off, just a few attacks, 3 attacks, and she's already down there to almost half health, but the Muriel comes in and now she has to back off as well as that Murdoch. It might have a lot of damage up his sleeves if these carries here have gone full damage with proper supports. Doesn't look like they did choose to go with a health potion. Definitely a possibility going to strike tokens if their supports go with Circlet of Health, which enables them much sustain, but of course that, well, here we go with a fantastic behind the door gank by the Grux, but the Murdoch gets melted as he tries to come up, and the Decker out of position to unable to be the support that they needed there with the stuns on the Cameron, with the slow bubble, not able to, as that Muriel completely dominates that support role, giving the shields to Cameron, keeping him alive, so that 2-person turnaround there by the orange team is going to make a dominant display here in this red lane, as Shadon is really going to have an interesting time here pushing back this minion wave, but doesn't seem like very much is going to be made of that. So here in the mid lane we have a nice and easy laning experience here with the Gadget and the Gideon. Looks like the Gadget is a little dominant at the moment, but I mean that does set her up for some more ganks from the enemy Rampage here. Rampage, definitely a good ganking hero, but maybe not as great as this Grux can be here in the blue, on the blue team. We do have a Severog laning against a Grux, which I find very interesting. Grux being the more dominant laner, I would say, but this Severog looks like maybe he has something up his sleeve. Let's see here if he does indeed. A Hunter's Drink, which only... Okay, so health regen, interesting. This does give you more health after level 7, so it's interesting why he chose to go here with that so early in advance. 2 health potions would have been probably definitely better before level 7, but hey, who knows. We have a health token as well, definitely going to be very dominant here in this lane with all of that health. He's going to have a tough time. The Grux, that is going to have a tough time here going up against this Severog. So in terms of team compositions, it's really hard to say what teams here have the advantage. The Rampage is a fantastic tank that has a great presence in these team fights with with that ultimate, but I would say that the Sevarog is as well. It may be a little bit more stricter of a tank, but both can deal damage. So it's going to be really interesting to see if the Sevarog can use his control to kind of out tank, out support the Rampage on the blue team. The Rampage obviously has greater presence with his ultimate, and that stun on his boulder is well. But I think that I want to give the edge to the Sevarog. So it looks like both teams are kind of doing a pretty good job here of jungling. The orange team here should have a bit of an XP advantage and card XP because of that early gank. As we can see, yes, 12, 9, 9, 9, 9 with 9, 9, 9, 9, and 6. So orange team, if they can keep this lead, if they can simply just stick to their lanes, not let the blue team get any funny ganks off or some very unfavorable 2 for 0 kind of business, they are going to have a nice and easy dominant time here in this early game, just sticking to their thing. Well, looks like Nikki M, no, he's going to be recalling, as definitely this Gideon is being quite dominant now. He's returning the favor, but I think being a Gideon, he's going to have a nice and easy time getting away from that Grux, unless the Grux can work some magic. Again, the blue lane here, really not much going to say. Yes, the Sevarog here has a lot of health with that health token and the 2 pseudo health potions, but the Grux does have that damage if he did go for it. Let's see here. If he did, the Breastbreaker to break through that little bit of armor that especially Sevarog here will have in the early game. So he's going to be dealing that damage very nicely. Fully upgraded Breastbreaker, 3 minor strikes, and a strike token. Yes, I would say the Sevarog has to be careful, but it looks like he himself has gone for Mad Spore Sash for that physical armor against that Grux. It's going to be actually very interesting. Very nice choice. I really like this move by the Sevarog. That passive damage is going to really actually help if he can just sustain against the Grux, really help against pushing these minion waves. He actually, I think, might have the advantage, to be honest with you. So he looks like he's rotating here to the mid lane. I'm not sure if this is going to be a planned gank, and it looks like it is. The Sevarog should be waiting for his Grux, but he's choosing to go in. He does have his ultimate. Let's see. Oh, he misses his ultimate. That was a big mistake. He must be hurting himself now, because that ultimate would have been huge, because now the Grux is going to get some tower damage there in the blue lane, but this middle lane gank is continuing, but really the Grux can have an easy peasy time getting out there with the help of that speed gate. So interesting opportunities here. The orange team is definitely going to keep their advantage if the blue team is going to be missing those ultimates, missing those ganks. They need to make something happen in order to get back, or they simply just here farm nicely and kind of recuperate their early game disadvantage. The Grux and the Rampage being very aggressive here in the blue team's blue jungle. That is probably because the orange team does have the wards there in that left side of the map to give them the information that 3 of the enemy team is over there. 1 just recalled the gadget there, and the Sevarog is covering the lane, so they have complete control over this jungle, and that's why they went in. Very nice move. I very much like that. There's that vision, that wards in that red side of the map, giving them that advantage to really make something work. Looks like a little bit of a gank here is happening. There is the ultimate from the Gideon, but not able to secure the kill on that Grux. He's keeping his charge for very key moments, and it looks like he's going to be able to get out. Nothing happening again. That the orange team, while they did try that gank, they could have secured their advantage for sure. Looks like that the Sevarog was able to out-sustain that Grux. What did I say just now? That is what he needs. He needs to just out-sustain. Let that Mad Spore Sash tick off on that Grux, because that is a lot of damage here in the early game. 15 plus the 8 here, 23 damage every second, while your basic attacks are only really doing the Sevarog probably only 80 or 90. That's a solid amount of DPS that he can rely on as long as he just stays alive. So there is that dominant display by this Sevrog. Very much a good call for that Madspore Sash, giving that little bit of physical armor, which is very much effective here in the early game. 1 CP of armor here at level 6, 7, and 8 was worth a lot. It really, really is. Really surprising. Going for a guard barrier token here in the early game is actually very extraordinarily powerful. So here in this red lane, looks like the supports have all but gone. Trying to rotate, trying to make things happen, save there. But here we go. Here's the Muriel coming from behind, but no. The communication there, Cameron doesn't want to extend, didn't want to make anything happen there with his Muriel. So PF Prime on this Murdoch is going to have a nice easy time there avoiding that. Now Shadon wants to return the favor. There is the stun, but again the Murdoch can't make anything happen. The shields from Muriel, look at that, able to peel that damage, but here is the opportunity. PF Prime can get him low enough and then use his ultimate. Doesn't look like it, so now the opportunity is lost here. Okay, very, very interesting opportunities here. The Decker, the advantage that having a Decker here in this red lane gives is that stun, is that playmaking ability, while the Muriel is the perfect counter to that Decker. That playmaking potential is really going to be a very interesting red lane. As you can see, both carries are just Cameron's leaving. He probably has some card power to spend. Looks like that Sevrog was taken out by a fantastic gank here in the red lane. The Rampage and this Grux both needed in order to take him out, but Nikki M on this Grux is doing a fantastic job coming over here, covering the lane that could be pushed very quickly by a Grux. Very kind of terrifying when you have a Grux pushing a lane all by himself, so he can absolutely, very nice, but can Nikki M, being in the jungle, survive? Does he have the card power? I don't think so. He's relying on that, but look at Chucherino, outplayed, monstrously outplayed. Chucherino being in the lane, having that card power advantage. I'm going to assume here 18 versus 15. He had 15 equipped versus 12 equipped, so that is exactly why. Got he turned that pull around, and looks like, let's take a look at their builds here. Both going for actually very, very similar. Nikki M going for a little bit more health here with the Brawler's Ward as well. Chucherino being very, very aggressive. No ward at all, just health and damage. So if he can stay alive here as Grux, he's being risky here with no ward. There is the ward. Definitely knew that had to happen at some point here. So mid lane, not really too much to talk about. Gadget, Gideon doing their thing. Really, not much is happening, but there's the interest. There's that little bit of a poke damage, making a very interesting advantage for the Gideon. Now Gadget has to be very careful for his Cosmic Rift. Very long range. There we go. Now maybe she's going to turn things around. I don't think she could with that Gideon ultimate. I would be very worried myself. She has to be careful because that Cosmic Rift does a surprising amount of damage if he goes all damage. Looks like this. Decker is getting taken out. I'm not sure what she was doing. Putting down a ward. That's what she was doing. Trying to counter ward, but she's going to pay for it with her life. And that was not worth it. That was not worth it. Have to, and especially in this early game, be very careful with giving away numbers advantage, giving away that card power for your death here in this early game. It's incredibly important. This orange team is just compounding their advantage now, and I would start to be worried here by the blue team. Worried a while back, as we can see the character levels themselves even tell the story here, being with the Grux and the Rampage being able to dive into the jungle, get that little bit more character experience as well. But the CP here, 21, 24, 24, 18, 18, vastly superior to the blue team. 18, 18, 18, triple 18s and 2 15s. Yes. Orange team, they have done a fantastic job securing some of these great ganks, not dying themselves. As we can see, only one, that Grux there very much early on, that Severog doing a very great job with that Madspore Sash, able to kind of counter that Grux very nicely. He can just sustain off of his kills there and just kind of let that tick away. Looks like there's going to be a little bit of a tower damage here, but Nicky M needs to be careful. He did a great job of taking away the minion wave, but there's a little bit of damage, and the Rampage had his boulder throw out, and it looks like Nicky M is a little bit of trouble, but there is the support from Shadon. There we go. He should be able to get away now. Oh, very strongly engaging. Here comes the Muriel ultimate. Nicky M is definitely in trouble now. That's going to be a pick for sure. With 3 of them, that forces the blue team to retreat. The blue team's just compounding their disadvantage here, not playing it safe. That was a very risky move there in the mid lane, but look at that. The Decker secures the kill here on the Grux, secured the kill on the Severog. I think that Severog's having a much harder time being only 18 card power to the 24 of Chucherino, and he has that physical pen to really pierce through that Madspore Sash, so I really much like that. And now that he has the ward with a whole bunch of strikes and this lesser strike and the strike token, he's doing damage, and not much he can do. Looks like PF Prime here in the red lane has forced to retreat, but looks like he's going to easily be taken down. Oh my goodness. As you can see, the orange team is doing a fantastic job of compounding their advantage. They are not letting the blue team get any sort of ganks, any sort of advantage in the numbers department or in the engaging department. That Rampage cut off that Grux, forcing him into the jungle there in the mid lane, and that was kind of the beginning of the end for that engagement. Very fantastic job. Look at this Gideon not letting this this gadget get too healthy, too aggressive, forcing her to stay back. Very interesting. There we go. That's what we are talking about right there. And he's going to dive, but he should play it safe himself. He needs to just let their advantage work for them over time, and eventually it'll be a solid win for this orange team. Okay, so we have this Rampage here. He split pushing because of that numbers advantage. Very easy job. So here we go. There is that bit of damage. And let's see what is his build. He's going for a very nice amount of damage. Yeah. So to speak. Very nice bruiser build here for him. So there we go. Nice amount of damage. With that Severog coming in, he's going to retreat. He knows he has the advantage, so he can go back to jungle and then head on over to deal with that Severog at a later time. Look at the vision advantage here. Look at all of those orange bars on your screen. 4 wards in the blue team's red jungle. That vision advantage, I think, is going to pay dividends here. But it looks like this Grux is actually going after the wards, as one just disappeared there. They need to ward themselves. They really need to ward themselves, because they would see that this Rampage here is in their own jungle, taken care. So blue team looks like they're just being a little bit careless. They're kind of breaking down here, not really doing the fundamentals of warding off, of just playing it safe. Very interesting, very interesting. So it looks like we have a little engagement here. There is the collapse in on the Rampage, being very aggressive in their jungle, but Nicky M is getting slaughtered by the Rampage and the Decker. Very interesting that man in hell is doing so much damage. We just looked at his build, but there you go. There is that bruiser focus paying off heavily, and now I Will Survive is trying to make something happen. She has to be careful herself. She needs to just retreat and not give the orange team another another kill, as that's really what's going to suffer. And she does, in fact, yes, get away very nicely. And their orange team's just going to go back to taking out their jungle, being very dominant, keeping up the pressure. Not much they can do. Cameron coming here, going to melt down this tower, as he is probably very well fed. 36 card power. The rest of his team forcing the blue team to kind of answer their aggression, leaving Cameron alone to do his own thing. Look at this aggressive gank from behind. This Sevarog knows where his fate, and now he is left to die. Wow. That early game advantage being compounded by fantastic safe play, secure, very easy ganks by this orange team. And this should be one dead Sevarog, unless his friendly team can survive, but be careful, Shadon. Looks like they're going for that Sevarog. They want to get at least something for this collapse, for this, heavy engagement there in the blue team's blue jungle. Oh boy. 2-11 for the blue team, 11-2 for this orange team. Manonhell doing a fantastic job. I'm really quite surprised here by his build. He's doing a fair amount of damage, but I think that's more just the disadvantage of the blue team here. So I think, guys, we can pretty much call this game at this point. Oh boy, I don't really like to do that. I don't really like to call games, but this is such a dominant display here. 39, 33, double 30s, and 27 versus the highest person being 27 with 3 21s. They're almost about half as powerful as this blue team, barely, about 2/3 as powerful. So they're going to have a really tough time coming back from this. I don't really see how that could be possible. They need to win some good team fights, get a couple numbers advantage so that they can push some lanes, get the siege going in the right direction. Once that happens, then they could possibly, at that point, win another team fight once they have the siege advantage, get a tower or two at that point, and then that would probably even out the playing field at that point, giving them a good 6 to 9 card power by that point, evening that gap up in the card power department. But that is a lot to ask for. I will survive here on Gadget getting caught out, and that's exactly what you cannot do. Get caught out in the enemy jungle. Or your friendly jungle even, but look at the wards for the orange team. 3 in each of the blue team's jungle, with the blue team having wards in their own, but they can't counter ward. They can't eliminate the orange team's wards. And look at this, they know they have numbers advantage and a huge positional and vision advantage here by Orb Prime, so they are going to go for it. Cameron going to melt this. Oh my goodness, melt away this. Look at this, very nice amount of health. Yeah, very nice amount of health with the blink charm even, so looking to just sustain in these engagements, let that passive build up, do that insane amount of damage, while that Rampage is a great source of sustain as well, with a great poke by the Gideon, the Muriel increasing that sustain. What a dominant display, dominant team composition as well. Even though the blue team, I really don't have an issue with their blue team, even though this Grux needs to be a little bit more of a bruiser in order to help the Sevarog, and just kind of be that kind of strong front line, make that plays happen. The Decker and Gadget maybe need to synergize more with their ultimates to make that happen, so that that Murdoch can just chew away at the enemy team while they are controlled. I think that's the only really strong point. Manonhell, he's going to tank, go straight for this tower. Look at how fast they're going to demolish this, and this is definitely midpoint to the end. The domination is too strong here. Nikki and maybe getting caught out in a little bit. Nope, but there we go. The Sevarog here is doing the engagement, but he can't make anything of it and gets melted on his way back. Oh boy. His friendly team not able to make anything happen, not able to engage with him. Communication breakdown, a whatever. And there's a nice grab by the Grux, but the rest of the... Oh boy. Oh boy. way too dominant. Cameron does get focused, but I think that's not enough. And there is the orange team. Holy smokes. Yes, there was some good strategy there by the orange team, but I don't think that that there was too much of a dominant strategy. I think that was just pure card power advantage there. Having such an easy time taking out the blue team. The blue team did try to get a few good moments off, but that Sevrog there, tried to engage. Rest of his team wasn't there. Couldn't make it happen, and that's going to be a super strong win for this orange team here at the 24-minute mark. Unbelievable. Check that out, ladies and gentlemen. Very dominant display by the orange team. Wow. Compounding that early game advantage, playing it safe, disabling the blue team from returning it around, trying to claw back some kind of an advantage. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you like that crazy dominant display by the orange team. They basically came down to this, ladies and gentlemen, secured an early game advantage and didn't let go of it. They compounded on it with great engagements, safe play, strong jungle rotations from that Rampage, being dominant, using that vision, so many great things that you saw there. Just totally outplayed the blue team in every single way. They did the basics really well. I think this was Paragon, this meta right now, the fundamentals of this game before Monolith comes out, done supremely well. Hopefully you guys like that. Hopefully you guys watch this again. I'm going to watch this again to see how did they do that? How did they get that advantage? Well, it was just a great gank there on that red lane. But then how do they keep that? How do they use their wards to their advantage and just be so dominant? That was really fascinating to watch. I would like to watch it again myself. So please like this video if you like it, dislike it, dislike it, share it with the community, guys, and of course subscribe if you like this content, found it useful. There's going to be lots more with Monolith. A lot of my really most popular videos, most useful videos, we're going to be doing those again because all of the numbers are going to change. We're going to take a look at that as well. So please subscribe if you want to take a look at all of that. That is coming up within the next few weeks once Monolith hits. Till next time, like always, stay optimistic and positive.